What's up, everyone? Sebastian, buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te vas? Ojalá que bueno. I'm excited to do this stream. I've been thinking about doing like a little cheat sheet for SvelteKit and VS Code for a while, and now hopefully we'll turn that into something fun that other people can benefit from. Tosk, hi, hiya, I like it. Sebastian again. Good to hear it. Khan Merhaba? What does that mean? Cada vez tenés un acento argentino. And I haven't even used vos or yo or other intricacies from Argentina. Yeah, sometimes I'll change it a little bit depending on who I'm talking to. Andrew, what's up? How many people, just out of curiosity, are Svelte/SvelteKit users? Because I'm hoping to get some like fun tips from people on the best setup. Uh Josh Monta, hi. Osman, hi. I have to check out Dustin Luke. Dustin Luke. Uh let's see. The guy speaks Argentinian and is from Georgia. That's cool. Where? Okay. Here. Hold on, I'm gonna share this. This is hilarious. So Sebastian just sent me this person who speaks an American from, what you said, Georgia, I think, and speaks with an Argentinian accent. And it was a like day one speaking Spanish and it's terrible accent, a week speaking Spanish, terrible accent, a month speaking Spanish, and then like sometime later on is like he's got an amazing Spanish accent, which is funny. I can follow. Am I logged in? Maybe. Yeah, cool. All right, following. Sweet. Ellie, love your content. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Tosco is a Sapper user. Fair enough. A live stream, 25 gold. Yep. Hassan from Uganda. Awesome. Welcome. Dustin Luke, man. Oh, Santiago también está aquí. I don't think, no pienso que Sebastian y Santiago se conocen, pero ustedes los dos son de Argentina. Entonces, meet and chat about Argentina. Fearless, can't wait to watch this later at work. So I'll check the cool. Yeah. Thanks for checking in, Fearless. Santiago. Yes. You know what's funny? I find myself getting confused now with doing, it's like harder for me to do Spanish with how much French I've been doing. I'm sure everybody signs on to these like development streams to hear me talk about Spanish and French, but yeah, so it like changes my perspective sometimes on how I accidentally like mispronounce stuff, and I don't know, it's kind of funny. So, Louis, did someone say svelte? Yes. So my goal, um, I'll have kind of some svelte content announcement coming out in the next month, but I want to start to kind of build up content around svelte specifically. And so one of the things I wanted to do is build a cheat sheet for the best setup. And I gotta have to go like way far back for this tweet. The best setup for people using Svelte/SvelteKit inside of VS Code. So I asked this question on Rats. Can I search this, James Q quick? Svelte VS Code setup. I asked this question on Twitter a while ago, and I meant to pull up the link. And now I can't find it to the original question. Me gusta SvelteKit. Yo también. Buenos Aires, pero vivo en USA. Does okay? Anybody have want to like find the link to this for me? Tweets with replies. Rats. I'm like not finding the tweet. Rats, rats, rats. Well, we can kind of just build this up from scratch. Somebody also shared a something on Reddit too, which I think is a really good idea. So how many people we've got a few more people that have joined since I originally asked, but how many people are using Svelte or SvelteKit? Have used it before? And I guess the first thing we could start with, I guess I should have like a document somewhere. Let me get something out. Content, resources. Where is well, I'm just gonna create something like in a to-do list, I guess. To-do list. And we'll use Svelte. SvelteKit, VS Code. But I'm on another screen, so you're not seeing this right now. But I will pull this over in a second. So I'm going to create just a page in Notion. Other people use Notion also. It's like my favorite thing. I was bragging about it to someone the other day, and they're like, "Oh, this actually is amazing." Osmond, sometimes check the job list about Svelte and don't see any specific posts. What do you think? That's actually a really good question. I don't specifically know like details about hiring for Svelte. I would say like it's definitely a you will definitely find less Svelte postings than you would something like React. Like React is still just very dominant. Angular, I think you'd see a lot of. You probably see a lot of Vue as well. So I'm not surprised that you would see a lot less of Svelte. But I think Svelte, or excuse, yes, Svelte will continue to grow. So I think there will be more and more of that. The other good aspect of this is like you learn about Svelte and you're learning about frameworks in general. So it's a great way for people to get intro to a framework because it's a little bit easier than React, for example. But those learnings are still going to carry over. So anyway, Coder Destin on Twitch says he uses Notion and got his wife on it. Yeah, it's really amazing. I love it. So maybe we can start with like extensions. Anybody have any recommendations on specific extensions that you use for SvelteKit? One of the ones I use is oh, actually haven't seen this one. Oh, this is not super popular. It is so this is an extension pack, Svelte for VS Code, Svelte 3 snippets, etc. Um so Svelte for VS Code, this comes with Svelte HTML, remove it. Okay, so I think this is going to give like IntelliSense and stuff inside of Svelte file. So I'm curious to try this out. By the way, this is the code for the Learn Build Teach Discord for the homepage. Still a lot of work to do, so it's basic stuff here. But this is the code behind the scenes of this. Diego, ciao. When people say ciao, I don't know if that's like an Italian ciao or if it's a Spanish ciao. So, or Portuguese is probably similar too. So Diego, I don't know if I can safely respond in Spanish or if you speak Italian or a different language or none of the above, and I'm just off. So anyway, if you want to clarify for me, feel free. Italian, gotcha. I could read a lot of Italian, but I couldn't speak any Italian. Louis says, here Italian. Yes, thanks for the clarification. How do you spell it in Spanish? Is it CHAU? I actually don't know this. Oh, that's Justin Chow. That's how he spells it. Or is that right? It's okay. So it is how you spell it. I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's what the Argentinian household that I like learned Spanish in would always say ciao instead of adios. So I was used to that. But it's a derivative from ciao. Makes sense. SvelteKit 1.0 is out. We will definitely see more and more openings in the future. Louis, 100% agree. Absolutely. Bruno, is this Cascadia code? Yes. So I actually just published a short on YouTube and TikTok with my two favorite free fonts inside of or that I use inside of VS Code. So one is Cascadia code that I have here. Another is Fira code that I used to use in the past. Salim, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Okay, so the Svelte for VS Code, this is going to give like language support. Let's see this. And syntax highlighting rich IntelliSense for Svelte components using the Svelte language server. So I think like this will be, I'll regret this, but let's turn this off for a second and reload this. And I think all of this like colorful stuff will go away, which is not fun. Yeah, so this is what it would look like without this Svelte extension. So absolutely want to have that one installed. Love Muscle. Hey yo, welcome. Afternoon. Are you also in the States then, or something around my time zone if it's also the afternoon for you? So let's go back and enable this. So that's something you gotta have because you can't code without this stuff. So that's number one is Svelte for VS Code. So let's do that. Svelte for VS Code. Svelte IntelliSense. This seems popular too for data event slots, etc. Austin, Texas. Oh, I will be in Austin for that conference, which is the name of the conference, not a adjective. Or yeah. Anyway, so I'll be in Austin actually Saturday. I get there Saturday night. I'm meeting my wife there. Will SvelteKit support presumably or resumability like Quick? I don't know. I don't know. Quick. I think that's like I don't fully understand that with Quick, which is cool based on like my name. Um but anyway, yeah, so the resumability, I think that's like specifically like one of the huge things with Quick, and I don't know that any other framework does it, but if seems like that sort of stuff could be valuable. So um should be going. Hope to see you. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. Let's see. Bon serapete cum stai. So I can translate that. Like I assume it's like good afternoon to you. How are you in Italian? Yes, yes, yes. I assume so. All right. So what is this extension? Has anybody used this Svelte IntelliSense extension? Supports a go-to definition of VS feature for quick navigation between components. Oh, wait, what? So does this not work already? I feel like this is already built in. So if I look at, let's look at an admin page, routes, admin, and then I have a card list. I can click on this and go to the component, which is kind of what they were just showing, but that already works, right? Because they're clicking on this and then going to that component. Just click to component usage and markup, simple import section, and view its source. Yeah, so I think that already works. Anybody use that and know if that does something I'm not catching or something? Karis, what's up? Ninja04, how do I make connections when I'm shy? Well, you could do online stuff like Discord communities. You don't have to show your face or anything like that. Those are great ways to get connected. So I run the Learn, Build, Teach Discord, and I would say that's a relatively easy way to start. This says Svelte 3 snippets, which is interesting. I don't even know, like, I don't think about versioning for Svelte specifically anymore versus SvelteKit, but Salim, it's midnight in Pakistan, 12:15. Yeah, thanks for staying up late. Svelte snippets. I've got one that I use for Svelte snippets, although this is like not super documented, so I probably wouldn't use that one. Auto import. Oh, that's interesting. Multi-root workspace configuration. So I've got like automatic import. It's interesting. A lot of the stuff just works inside of VS Code. So anyway, I wouldn't have thought about a lot of these. In Imran, are you in, or your name is Kabir from NYC? Are you in NYC now? I'll be there next week. Live preview of Svelte files. This is interesting. Lock background. Wait, what? Have you seen this? How would that work? I don't really get that. Preview. Svelte preview. Properties of undefined regarding length. Hmm, that's weird. I feel like this couldn't work with like dynamic data, or it doesn't appear to. Anyway, uninstall that. Reload required. Sure. So, are there any other Svelte extensions that you use? VS Code, have that. And then the other one I have is from who created this? Maybe far down there. Let me go here. This is one I use a lot if I can find it. I don't it's what's the name of this thing? SvelteKit Snippets. SvelteKit Snippets. Is this searching? Here we go. From Jacob Sordahl. That's what it was. So somebody in our Discord community, and actually he has been on live stream with us and has joined joined for a live stream like as a guest a couple times, and then has also been in the chat a lot too. So that one I highly recommend. Um, I think it's the most so I could extension packs. This is just an extension pack. This is I wonder if adds a starter. Oh, so I wonder if Jacob has updated his to include snippets for these because that would be really helpful. Has everyone, if you haven't used SvelteKit recently, has everyone like seen a new structure for routing files like page and page.server, page.svelte, TS, layout, etc.? Are you all familiar with how that works? Let's see what SvelteKit load. That's probably it. Layout. That's pretty basic. I'm just looking at the existing snippets that load module. Oh, you can actually see them over here on the right. That's cool. So you get a preview for the actual snippet. Title. These are so nice. TypeScript endpoint. This is a really cool feature that I've never actually used in, or I haven't specifically used myself in SvelteKit, are the await blocks where you can like await something to happen and then with the data display something and then with the error display something. That's actually really powerful. Anyway, these snippets are really good. So SvelteKit snippets here by Jacob Stordahl, I would recommend. All right, let's see what else is in this list here. So I know a lot of these settings, one of the things that it's going to be trying to solve is the difficulty inside of routes where you have replicated the same file name over and over again. And so it's folder based routing. So page.svelte inside of a folder of kudos, for example, is going to be the page component for the slash kudos route. And same thing for code of conduct, content, etc. So the downside is now if I go to try to search, I get page.svelte 100 times. And so a couple of these things are trying to help solve that problem. So one of the things that's interesting is like right here, I can only see page.svelte. I can't tell what folder this is in. I can see it up above. And so I think some people have customized like this tab to show more or less. I can't remember exactly which. So I'm kind of curious if one of those is in here. Svelte for VS Code and Svelte 3 snippets. Yes. Folder color green. Change the folder color to green so I can keep consistent with the route color icon in material. Really optional preference. Interesting. I wonder how they did that. I'm not sure how you would choose to customize that. Material icon theme. I just use the VS Code icons theme. Anybody else use anything different? All right, so the label format I think is what I was thinking of. Let me see what this image looks like. Oh, so this tells you like what folder this is in, which is super helpful. So let's go back and let's go to settings, label, format, and we can do short, which does show the folder. Cool, medium, and that shows a longer file, or long, which will probably show the full path, which is probably not what we want. So this is actually really helpful. So let's go and mark this. Uh, VS Code settings, and this will be workbench editor table format, and set this to short. That's super cool. I wonder if you can set like a max width on that, because I could also see how this would be a little annoying if you have a ton of files open, but that's where like I usually don't click up here to select. I usually just tab through them like this. I probably don't have to worry about that a ton. Workbench editor untitled. The name of the untitled file is derived from my content. So if I, are you saying if I do a new file, not that. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where that starts. Cool. So that should work. I like that. And then this one is workbench indent settings, workbench tree indent. This allows you to change the indentation level. I'd recommend increasing it to clearly define the tree. Oh, wow. Wait, what? Is this inside? Oh, it is over there. That's cool. I did not know that. Yep, that's definitely a keeper for me. So workbench and tree indent. I did not know that. Huntabite had some things like this in his video. Which do you have a link to that video? Is it VS Code setup Huntabite? I think I might have watched this one actually. SvelteKit layout vacation. Oh, they've got tons of stuff. I think I ended up following this channel too, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Cool. Let's see. Search filter, superbase auth, superbase authentication, protected routes. Oh, I need to watch this. Account settings. Do you remember what the name of the video was? Let's see. Huntabytes SvelteKit. VS Code maybe? No, that's me. I feel like I watched that video and now oh, this one. Okay. Super cool. I wonder this audio isn't coming through to you all, I don't think, is it? Let me see if are you saying yes, it's that video or yes, the audio is coming through? Yeah, the audio. Okay, cool. Just making sure. So if I want to, do y'all want to listen to how I listen to stuff? It's actually quite wild. So I have this extension in Google Chrome that I can control the speed of YouTube videos more than just the 2 times that they give you in the dashboard. So let me know if you hear this audio
Pages
first.
open here, it's really
If you
hard
should
for us
hear
to
that.
tell which page this actually is. Right now, if we have multiple ones open, VS Code will take the path name here and
Still no
append it
audio?
to this label. But we can actually make sure this is always showing, right? Because now we have these
Really?
two page.svelte showing, but we
Yes.
don't know what page.server
Wait.
this is, right? So what we can do is we can go into our user.
Okay, was that coming through? It should be, I think. I bet 2 times speed. Yeah, no, I listened to like 3 at least. Now audio, cool. Okay, so this is what I
settings,
do.
and we can type in
Is
label
I
formats.
just
And the first thing here,
plus
work label format, we
this,
change the shorts. You can see that now no matter what, I'm going to see which page I'm
and
clicking. If I only have
then
one page that's still open, I can now see that this belongs to the login directory. Okay,
like
if I
the voice and stuff
and so on and
sounds
so forth. That's the
crazy,
first
but
tip. Number two actually don't use it. Maybe it's because old habits die hard. I'm not too sure, but I can never really behind this one. But
I know this is very but this is how I
settings.
listen
And
to
again, this is
stuff.
stemming from the fact that we have a ton of nested routes here. You can see it becomes a little tricky to tell which file belongs to what directory. You kind of have to walk the dog up this line here, figure out, okay, this belongs to this. I'm not too sure which one these belong to. Now, this is supposed to help with that. So if we go into our user settings and we go to sort order, we scroll down to explore sort order, and we change it to files first.
So I'm curious about this one. Explorer sort order. Let's see, Explorer sort order default, and then files first. So Magnus, it depends. Yeah, Jack, good point. So a lot of the stuff that I end up watching is not like learning stuff from scratch. It's something like this where I'm looking to get to a specific thing. So I might like listen to it really fast and then slow it down. But a lot of the times it's not content that I need full attention to. Which like I'm just trying to get out specific things and anyway, it just helps me get to the point of what I'm looking for faster, I think. Um yeah, so it works out really well for me. I listen to everything that I do on 2 times speed. So podcasts and videos, I always listen to 2 times speed. The only podcast I don't listen to at 2 times speed is my French podcast because I'm learning French. So it like I can't keep up with it if I did it at 2 times speed. But I'm listening at 1.25 speed, which has been nice. You see, yeah, it's kind of like a fast forwarding thing. I also listen to my videos when I'm editing at 2 or 3 times speed. Again, for the same point, because like when I'm editing, I can kind of tell if I don't mess up. So I just like zoom through the part where I don't mess up, and then I slow down, obviously, at the parts that I actually have to edit. So I'm curious about this one. So this is files first, which I think is going to put. It doesn't actually do. First time found you live. Your videos are useful. Oh, Juka, thank you. So glad to hear that, and welcome. Tech Gadget is on Twitch. Twitch is actually there's only like a couple people on Twitch, maybe. So glad to have you here, Tech. Let's see, I didn't have the Twitch tab open, so yeah, just comments from Destin and Tech Gadget in there. Cool. Oh, this is also the same time. I need to get away from that. It's also the same time as Jason, so I'm going to be moving my stream on Tuesdays. Oh, actually, I usually do these at 2 anyway, which I think is after his. Let me see if that's true. Learn with Jason. We can see the schedule on here. His stuff, just in case people here haven't seen Learn with Jason, you should definitely check it out. It's great. Let's see the episode details. So 11:30 a.m. CST. So that means so Jason would be at like 2 hours right now. If that's the case. That's a long time. So Ruben, I am going through and trying to build up like notes for myself about just the best setup for working with SvelteKit in VS Code. Yeah. Tech Gadget, yeah, I'm staying here today. Check him out later. Yeah, stay here and then check him out later. Absolutely. Okay, so next time, please, a tutorial with SvelteKit and Firebase. Yeah, I honestly don't think I will use Firebase anymore. Like I'm such a big fan of Supabase that I don't I wouldn't expect me to have content on Firebase. The setup would be, I think, pretty similar, so similar concepts, but I just don't see myself going back and using Firebase. Does listening at 2 or 3 times speed affect your speaking speed? Like, do I talk fast because I'm used to listening fast? I don't think so. But what is really interesting is people sound really slow. Like if I watch a YouTube video at regular speed or a podcast at regular speed, it sounds crazy, crazy slow. So that is definitely noticeable. So, oh, I get this now. Okay, so this didn't quite do what I thought it would, but it's saying so I was thinking it would put like all the files first, regardless of where they were. Folder nest first. Interesting. And anything else modified? Is that like what items have been modified recently? Sure, I'm using files first sorting. It's nice for SvelteKit. So you are using that. Nice. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense when you have more complicated stuff in these folders. So, like, if I were to have nested, like, inside of here, oh, I just have one admin page. I don't have nested routes inside of admin. But if you had nested directories in here, I feel like that would make sense. But I don't think this really changes much for me. Ruben, can you like maybe elaborate on why you think why that helps you? Because I feel like it doesn't change as much as I thought it would, and I might just be missing something. I believe many people post their videos at higher speed, web dev simplified, for example. Magnus, are you saying that like Kyle speeds up his video before he posts it? So he posts it at like 1.5 speed or something? Is that really what happens? Yeah. So if you have a lot of files and routes and you have a lot open, it's super hard to see what files belong to which directory. So this was Ruben. I don't know if I think you weren't quite here, or maybe you were, but we just did the tree indent setting, which was super nice, and that made the indentation in here bigger, which takes a little more space, but does help make that a little bit more obvious too. So yeah, um, Kyle speaks so slowly already. How can that be? He really speak. I didn't know he did that. I'll have to ask him about that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he did that. So when I change this to files first, like I think probably most of the impact people are looking for comes over here, but it doesn't really change much for me because I've basically only got like a couple files in each one. But if you were to have nested routes, I could definitely see how that would be. Ruben just came in. No worries. Yeah. So the I think it was tree indent property in VS Code, not treen, but tree. Set to 16, or we could set it to 100. Oh, equal to or less than 40. So this should be like super wide. That's obnoxious. But by default, it was set at 8. I've never changed this before, which I think is pretty minimal. So 16 did seem like a good balance to give a little more space. So I think that's nice. Also, these icons are helpful. So I guess these come from the VS Code icons. VS Code icons. And let's actually just verify that. Let's see. Icon theme change file icon theme to none. And yep, that's a lot more boring. So icon theme minimal is boring. Material does have the svelte icon in there. SETI, I actually don't know this one. That's kind of interesting. I wonder where the difference. Oh, so it's not showing. That one actually skips the folder icon, which is interesting. I don't know if I love that or not, but that's interesting. So the VS Code icons has a folder for each one of these. I also don't know what folder. Where does this specific folder icon come from? Is that specific to a routes directory in VS Code? So one, let me go back to extensions and do VS Code icons. Diamond Boy on Twitch, what's up? Code this would be a great question for you. Oh, actually, let's also Code here. So let's plug Code VS Code superhero. Do people in the chat watch Jesse Code channel? He's in the chat, so you should all give him a shout out. But also, in case you're interested in like a deeper dive into a bunch of amazing stuff around VS Code, um, Jesse has just rebranded, like went through a complete redesign of website and stuff, and for his VS Code superhero course, which is already amazing. Fun fact: if you end up buying the course, I've got a link somewhere for an affiliate link, which I still make sales off of every once in a while from like an older VS Code video that I have that did really well. So if people want to buy the course and then you want to send me $30 in the process or whatever it is, then I can give you that link if you DM me. But we should also see. Oh, Jesse, can we get like an exclusive? I don't know if the original link that I had was like a discounted thing, but if you have a discounted thing, we can promote that again for people. Anyway, what were we talking about? Magnus, where do I connect with you all? Yeah, absolutely. So you can join the Learn Build Teach Discord. The website's there in the chat, learnbuildteach.com. Please do. I think you should change setting for workspace instead of user so that it won't affect other projects. Ooh, great point. Saurab, which specific setting were you referring to? Because I think all the settings I've changed have been relevant to all of my projects. So like the indentation, I think would make sense. And I don't think I'm going to keep well, I may the file first thing, but honestly, a lot of the frameworks are going to this like folder based routing thing. Like Next.js has now adopted that. And so I imagine that's going to be a more and more common thing, even across different frameworks too. So we'll see. With the indent tree, wouldn't that take a lot of space for long routes? Definitely could. I think this is one of the things that was interesting. So one thing in particular, I don't use this very often. So most of the time when I'm coding, I have this closed. So I just have the shortcut to open and close this because usually I'm searching for stuff from the command palette, and that's actually a good thing to note in here. Tips and tricks. Search files with Command P instead of in the file explorer. This is one of my favorite tips altogether. Like I almost never use the file explorer. So the fact that I can get rid of it, I'm not super worried about losing that space, Ruben, with the indent tree. Scion God on Twitch, what's up? What's up? You heard SvelteKit and came running, I'm sure. So what was I going to say? The other theme that was really interesting is the SETI VS Code. I guess it's built into VS Code because it gets rid of the folder icons. That's actually really interesting, and I maybe kind of like that. And great question, Code Stacker. So I maybe kind of like that because it hides the folder, saves some space, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to tell what is a folder. So I'd probably keep this. Now, I'm going to come back, Code Stacker. I'm going to answer your question in a second, which you probably know the answer to, I would imagine. But I'm really curious if I create another folder called routes. Ooh, so this is interesting. The routes inside of the code icons extension, it specifically has a different icon for a routes directory. That's interesting. VS Code icon, different icon for routes. I wonder how many different they have. Okay, so a couple comments in here I need to address. So let's answer Code Stacker's question. So if I search for page.server or page.svelte or whatever, that's obviously like one of the issues with having this folder-based routing with the same naming convention on files in those routes. So what I do is I search the directory that it's in first. So if like in the past, I would have called this like admin, not that. I would have called this like the admin file. So if I am now searching admin, I'm now kind of instead searching through the route name, which is exactly what Ruben just said. So now I could search admin and then page. And the cool thing about VS Code is it's fuzzy search, which is game changing. So you don't even have to do like admin slash blah, blah, blah. You just type in like admin page and then you're good. So you can really get to the point where you're probably like admin P, admin L for layout if I had one, and so on and so on. So I think that is the answer to that, which is a good tip of use fuzzy search. You don't have to properly type it, but it does have to be in order. So what I mean is you can't search page.svelte and then admin. So it has to be whatever the full path is. You have to type in the thing in order of what that path is, in order of what the characters come in. Does that make sense? Chris, welcome by the way. Thanks for joining. Chris is saying for icons that you can disable folder icons, which is cool. I want to try this out. Also, Code Stacker, Jesse, are you a Svelte user? I don't know if we talked about this before. Are you a Svelte fan? And I want to go to VS Code icon configuration. Ooh, so there's like lots of these. Custom icon folder path. Don't have that. The setting lets you change the default file icon. All right, what is there stuff that I can check in here? Don't show config, manually change. I don't want that. I love Svelte, but haven't yet made any content. Fair enough. Yeah. Don't show new version message. All folders will have. Oh, okay. So did y'all notice that? So a couple of different specific ones. This is interesting. So routes, lib, and source. For routes, source, and lib, and disable this with what is that? Presets all. Can I not select this? Mm. What does it say? Folders all default. Folders all default. So I like having different ones. I think they should. Oh, and the node modules has one too, which is worth noting. Node modules. Yash Kumar, hello, hello, welcome. All right, what other hide explorer arrows? Huh. Do I also teach pandas in Python? I'm not sure what pandas is, but I don't do any um is not something I don't do any Python. So unfortunately I wouldn't be able to help you there. Ruben, disabling folder icons, something I haven't thought of looks so much better. So oh there it is. So hide folders. It has like a very different feel to it. It all like it's probably good, but it probably makes me feel a little uncomfortable. This is wild. So you could save some space. I may try this for a while. I like it. Yeah, I may try this. So settings, hide, what was it? Hide folders on off based on preference. Ooh, cool. I like it. Yeah, I may. Well, and I feel like I'm wondering now. Well, let me come back to this. Let me see. Use the official JS icon. Oh, I kind of like that. This isn't like relevant to the video, I don't think, but that's kind of cool. So since I'm like saving space with the folder icons, I think I actually want to move the indentation back a little bit. I'll come back. I'll revisit that. Nest.js preset. Do I have TypeScript stuff in here? Oh, so it'll show my oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's go back to the tree indent. And I almost feel like without the folder icons, I can go back to 8. It's funny, I wish you could tell it a specific folder that that you want to increase the indentation on, because like I feel like source would be a big one that I would want to have a bigger indent on. That's interesting though. Maybe I'll do 10 right in between, a little bit farther. I don't know. Cool. Let's see what else is in here. Compact folders. Ooh, I don't know this
This
one.
tip here, this occurs if you want to have the routes without actually anything in that route and any sub route of that route. So in this case here, you can have slash login, then we have activate slash join, and then our files here are inside of slash join. This page that's spelled is actually inside of slash join. However, it does this weird thing where it actually makes the folder compact.
Oh, I actually really
so turn
hate
this off.
this.
We open our user settings and want to go to compact folders. And
I actually would love to change this because I don't like this setting in VS Code. Compact folder. So an example of this, Ariel saying indentation tree at 12 looks fine. That sounds like a good mix. How does folder first look now? Folder. Well, let's search the property for me. Or what? Folder first? Can you do folder first? Oh, I guess that's what that is. Yeah. I actually like so default. I actually like having I think files with nested children are displayed before other files. Oh, so even though this is like app.html, it's going to show this first because it's got other stuff in it. Oh, I could kind of play around with a couple of these. So the thing that I don't like though is that compact view. I've actually like really disliked that for a long time and never thought to actually change. It's amazing how many ways you can customize your editor if you actually find the right setting. And sometimes it just takes looking for them. Are there any benchmarks for SvelteKit to compare server performance to other meta frameworks? I don't have any myself. I think honestly, I think probably the bigger aspect of that is a little less about the framework and it's more about the code and how the code takes advantage of the specific features that a framework offers appropriately in a way that maximizes performance. So I like you could make decisions. You'd have to be doing a really, really, really intense site, I think, to be making decisions based on to decide a framework won't do what you need it to do in lieu of another one. I don't know. I think it's more about like the actual code and appropriately taking advantages of the features and doing the right performance optimization things than it is about the framework. But no, I don't have any like benchmarks to compare. Hanabai was mentioning he did like or use all the settings. He did like or so you're saying um he likes the compact view? Because I feel like that's like really confusing to me. Um Jesse, I don't know why, like for some reason I don't think it is, but Jesse, your comment like seems sarcastic, so now I'm like self-conscious, but I don't think you are. But yeah, I'm assuming that means that you agreed. Uh oh, he said he didn't. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I remember thinking about that too. Yeah, I figured, Jesse. It's the super difficult thing about reading text for people. Like you never know like what it actually sounds like in real life. By the way, I'm bummed. So I was talking about earlier, I'll be in Austin this weekend, Saturday. So my wife actually is in Portugal, which is cool. And she's flying back directly to Austin, which is where we're gonna be together for a few days for a conference. That's near um well, I thought Jesse was gonna go to, and now it sounds like he's not. So we won't get to see each other. But we got to meet back in London in November, which is super cool. So yeah, okay, so for people who maybe haven't seen this, let's say I create a new folder called test, and then inside of test, I create a new folder called test 2, and it does this collapse thing. So now if I add a file, page.svelte, what's really annoying to me is I can't tell whether this page.svelte is in test.2 or this one. And then I don't know, like it seems very confusing. How would you add a file to the test directory? Which I guess you can. Does this even work? Page svelte, does that work? It did, but it's very confusing for me. So anyway, I hate that setting. I do not like it at all. So I will be getting rid of this and we'll use this in the tips and tricks. So compact folders. Never. It's clearer to me where files live without the collapse. Also easier to look at creating new files in that directory. Ruben agrees. Magnus agrees. Yeah, glad we're on the same page. Scion on Twitch is asking if this VOD is going to be saved after the stream. Yeah, this will live long term on YouTube. So you have to go to Scion God is on Twitch right now watching, but you have to go to YouTube and it'll be under the live tab after we're done. Yeah. You reported this as a bug to VS Code. That's hilarious. What did they say? That's like, oh wait, this one. That's so funny. Oh, so you were legit, like, you didn't know that that was, like, a setting or intentional, and you were just like, "That can't be right," and so you were like, "This please fix." That's so funny. Andrew was about to ask the same thing. What were you gonna ask specifically? Were you asking about the video on demand after? Is that what you're asking? Cool. All right. So let's go. So yeah, definitely turn that off. Material icons theme. So he's using material icons theme. I'm using the VS Code icons
Custom
theme.
material icon theme for VS Code. That's the theme I use here. A lot of people ask me what icon theme I use. That's what it is. You can see here that the routes directory in SvelteKit is green. So in order to make all these subdirectories also green, so I know which one I'm in a route. Obviously, if you name something, a name is going to trigger like jobs, for example, it's going to trigger its own folder icon, and that obviously will override the colors. But all my routes will be green generally, right? That way I can tell, hey, these are part of my routes. We can do that with our settings and go, oops, and type in material icon theme. I scroll down here. We can see that we can change the color of the folder icons. So I just changed these to this green color here, 438.047, and then now all my folders are going to be green, right? Rather than the default color. I'm not even sure what the default color is at this point, but this is what I prefer to do here. All right, so this has to do with again being able to tell.
Wait, how did that work? Yes, yeah. So the video on demand will be available. Yeah, absolutely. So sorry if this is like if it's too annoying for me to play his audio, then I can just take it out of the thing and not play it for you. So I apologize if it is. How? So this is saying change the color of folder icons. How come that doesn't change the folder of the color of these? Hassan, what's up? Hassan, what's been going on? What kind of stuff have you been working on? Ruben says green folders is a pain. I don't necessarily mind the idea of the like any color, like whatever. What I'm not understanding though is how he got it to be just the routes folders that are that color. But then jobs is not. I think what's happening is um they have specific icons for certain folders like Prisma, Node modules, SvelteKit, like those already have custom ones. So I'm thinking that he's setting the default color to a different color, and the only ones that are being picked up are the ones in routes because the other things have specific styles. It would be really interesting if you could do a glob expression and a color. So like any folder underneath this directory, then add a color. That would be a sick feature request, I think. Huh. Where do we submit feature requests for VS Code? It changes the color of a folder that doesn't have a default icon. Arial, yeah, spot on. Cool. JB, what's up? What's up? What's up? Did someone say AI? AI I know nothing about. What kind of AI template apps? I saw you post. Hassan, you posted something on Twitter that I looked at recently. I can't remember exactly what it was. At Microsoft via snail mail. Nice. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But that would be a super cool feature request, and I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult to set up. So I wonder, was this post on? Is this from him, or did someone else just post like the? Which I feel like because I'm looking to do a cheat sheet of this, and it's going to be a lot of similar stuff, but I do have some things that are different. But this is like the exact same stuff that he covers in this video. BB Hawks, hey, how are you? Doing good. How are you doing? And are you a Svelte user? So tree indentation. So I think this is when
the indentions shifted in quite a bit because I set back to the default settings, which probably what yours looks like right now. We can actually change this. Look how close these are. When we get down to these deeply nested routes, it's hard to tell which files belong to which direction happening. I changed to 16, I believe.
Yeah, 16. Mark Huggins on Twitch. What's up, Mark? Andrew, learning React to get a job as a front-end dev. Would you recommend learning Svelte to be more appealing to employers, or would you recommend just getting good at React because of its popularity? Probably React. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, I think you're going to find more postings in the React ecosystem. Probably what you'll see for a lot of the companies that you would be applying for, a lot of those people probably have no idea what Svelte is, especially recruiters. So here's like what we post on YouTube videos and what we post on live streams, etc., gets kind of overhyped in the real world because the reality is like companies don't move that quickly to adopt new technologies and platforms, etc. So you're definitely more likely to see a lot more React jobs for now. Also, a lot of employers are going to have no idea what Svelte is, even if they know what React is. Because a lot of the people that work at companies don't do what we are all doing now. They don't go to streams and they don't follow people on YouTube and Twitter, etc. So they don't know what other things are out there. They know what they work on, which, like in that case, would be oftentimes would be React and Angular being super, super popular. So if I was looking at being more appealing to employers, I would get better at React and not necessarily do more with Svelte. If you want to get better as a developer and like understand more about different approaches to frameworks and kind of compare and contrast the differences and maybe find your favorite framework for side projects, as people are saying, then I would definitely check that out. But I think if your goal is job, React is probably the thing that you're going to invest more time in. Hopefully that makes sense. Ruben, in Norway, 0 companies use Svelte. Andrew, thanks so much. I get it. So React jobs and Svelte for fun personal project. I think that's fair. I think again for your learning process, it's going to be super helpful to have an understanding of different frameworks and kind of compare and contrast. Now, also, you can find Svelte jobs. So if you end up finding a company that you would like to work for that does use Svelte, that's the perfect opportunity to go and learn, at least get some experience with Svelte before walking into an interview, for example. So I like Vue more than Angular, but Angular has more job opportunities. I think that's true. I actually am like a relatively big fan of Angular, even though I haven't used it in a long time. But I like originally it was the only framework that had TypeScript built in. Now, like all the frameworks have at least a TypeScript option. So I think Angular was kind of a pioneer in that sense, but it was like it's like very enterprisey feel to it. Like it's just different than React and Vue because it has so much built in, which has its ups and downs. And I enjoyed the time that I spent with Angular. So yeah, that's a great conversation. Great discussion. Oh, let's see. Okay, so tree indentation. Feel like Angular isn't liked by developers. I think that is. I think that is. What do I think? I think it seems that way because the people that are most outspoken about frameworks don't like Angular. Like it just has a different audience. If you're an enterprise company, I feel like you're much more likely to use Angular, and the stereotypical enterprise developer at a big older company isn't the person that's doing what we're doing right now, which is watching streams and videos and learning more about other frameworks and technologies. People who can look more, have looked more, and I feel like can be more opinionated about React, especially in comparison to Angular. But Angular is really an amazing option. And I think there are lots of people out there who are just less outspoken that also love Angular, if that makes sense. That's just kind of my guess. Like obviously that's not a firm answer. But Angular is still super, super popular for a reason. I guess we can put it that way. Yep. All right. So extensions. I'm curious what. So he uses any thoughts? Any thoughts on the Scrimba platform? If I know it. Do I know it? Well, I just so happen to Scrimba. I don't even know the link. Thank you. Quick. I just so happen to have a couple of courses on Scrimba. I'm a huge fan of Scrimba. I think it's great. So I think it's a great resource. They've also got a great community in Discord too. So that's good. Code with now I'm curious. So I know I've seen like I think we've interacted and stuff plenty of time. But I don't know how to say your name. And I'm like mixing different languages in my head of how I'd say this, but Guillaume, and what language, if you don't mind sharing, is that? Oh, we just got a raid from Jason Langsdorff. Jason, secretly, I time all of my streams from now on to potentially get a raid from Jason. That's my number one goal in life. It's funny. We kind of actually like joked about that before because I pulled up my Twitch page to see who else was live and saw that Jason was live, and that's a poor time for me to start streaming because Jason's going to dominate. But anyway, thank you, Jason, for the raid. Really appreciate it. This is on Twitch, by the way, for people who are on YouTube and may be confused. If you're joining from the raid on Twitch from Jason Langsdorff's channel, from Learn with Jason, then we're just kind of talking about best practices, tips, tricks, settings, extensions, etc. for working with SvelteKit inside of VS Code. So a lot of this was inspired by a video here by Huntabyte, which is pretty awesome. And so feel free to use that as a reference. And I'm just kind of making a note, and then I want to turn this into like a free cheat sheet that I can give out to people. Code with Guillaume. Yam. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's right. Guillaume. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Got to go produce the short. Brian Robinson. Try to get back before the end. I'm probably not that far from being done, so you may miss it. But Brian, make sure to share the short with me. I'm curious what it's going to be. Code with Guillaume. Is there a VS Code extension for Svelte that provides snippets? Yes. So we actually talked about this at the beginning of the stream. So two things that I think are essential in here. One is the Svelte for VS Code extension. This one. This gives you like IntelliSense and color coding and stuff inside of your Svelte files. I think you got to have that. And then there's SvelteKit extensions by Jacob, or snippets from Jacob Stordahl, which is he's been on my stream a few times. He's in the Learn Build Teach Discord, and these are awesome. These are the ones that I use. So it's got snippets for vanilla Svelte and then SvelteKit. So different components, a TypeScript one, modules, the syntax inside of Svelte. So with like if loops and eaches and all kinds of stuff. So those are the two that I highly recommend: the Svelte snippets, SvelteKit snippets, and then the Svelte for VS Code extension. Mark spent the weekend looking at Prismic and potentially doing an Astro site, but the editor for Prismic was painful. Think I'm going to try using the Slice machine, which seems better. Mark, I'm curious what kind of struggles did you have with the Prismic? Jacob, what? Crazy. Jacob just showed up. Yes, I was just talking about your snippets extension, which I imagine you saw. So everybody in the chat, if you've ever used or plan on using SvelteKit snippets extension inside of VS Code, give some claps or a round of applause or appreciation or something for Jacob, who just joined in the YouTube chat. And Jacob, before you being here, let's get a round of applause. I think the audio should come through. Anyway, Mark was talking about creating a Prismic and potentially doing an Astro site. I think we chatted about that. Mark, I'm curious what kind of struggles you had inside of Prismic. I'd love to hear like any thoughts that you had there. Even if SvelteKit is pretty young, would you recommend using it in production? Do we have examples of companies who are using it? That's a great question. I don't have a great answer to this. What I like for production stuff for me that I would do, like my small projects, yes. SvelteKit just hit 1.0, which is a major milestone. And I think it took a long time to get to 1.0 because they were really trying to get it there, right? Like have that be like really stable. So I've got a lot of confidence in 1.0. Oh, Jacob is using SvelteKit in prod right now. Jacob's a huge Svelte and SvelteKit person. He also, I think it's an agency, is that right, that you work for? And like they've got legit sites in SvelteKit. So that's another one that is a good example. Fireship is using it in prod. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's good to know. Yeah. CodeStacker, thanks for joining. Again, if people haven't already followed or subscribed to Jesse's channel, CodeStacker, go and do that. Jesse, thanks for hanging out. Always a good time. We actually got to meet or talk this morning in our Discord group too. We have a monthly mastermind YouTubers chat, which is fun. Stordahl sounds like my neighbor. Might be. You could be right next to each other. Oh, Mark, yeah. So Scott Talinsky wrote his whole class platform in SvelteKit, and I think he was doing that before 1.0 hit too. So anyway, yeah. I think there's good reason for it to be in consideration for production. Mark was saying rich text editors, just silly things. If you added order list, you can't remove it without deleting the whole content. Oh, interesting. That is silly. I'm curious if people have thoughts. So I'm doing a couple of months worth of content with Storyblock, which is really fun for me because I think they're an exciting product too. And I'm curious if anybody has like suggestions on stuff to do with Storyblock for a piece of content. I'd love to hear that if you have ideas. You got two people from Norway in the chat. Is that right? That's awesome. I'm curious.
These are the extensions I used earlier to SvelteKit and stuff. So let's see how we can actually use these take full advantage of these. Let's go into our routes. Let's just say we want to create a new route inside employers. So I'll do is right click on this, go to SvelteKit files here, click on create routes, and I can /employer /something. Hit enter. And let's just say that I want a page.svelte and a page.server.ts. Okay. You see now a route called something was created. We now have a page.svelte with some
what was that?
/something. Hit enter. And let's just say that I want a page.svelte and a page.server.ts. Okay. You see now a route called something was created.
Whoa, wait.
All right, so next thing we're covering
Okay. See, this is where I now slow down the thing back to like normal speed. I want to see this
extensions. I
again.
get asked a lot what extensions I'm using or how I'm doing something a certain way. And these are the 3 extensions that I use that are related to SvelteKit and Svelte. So let's see how we can actually use these and take full advantage of these. So let's go into our route.
Guillaume, I actually didn't know you were from France. Will you be my French practice partner? Je voudrais pratiquer mon français avec toi. How was that? How was that? Saleem's already subscribed to Code Stacker. Awesome. That's so cool. I actually have I'm actually going to get off the stream here in a minute because I've got my next class. I'm doing classes through Babbel. And I've got a class at 3, so in like 50 minutes. That's so cool. Yes. All right. Now we're gonna be best friends. And you don't even know it. And hopefully you're not gonna get annoyed with all of my questions. All right, back to I'm really curious which extension this was. So
And let's just say we want to create a new route inside of employers. So all I have to do is right click on this, go to SvelteKit files here, click on create route.
where did SvelteKit files come from? Where did he get that option? Which extension was that? So I did actually learn Mikdam that voulez-vous coucher avec moi, which is like probably inappropriate to say on stream, but it's the Christina Aguilera song that never knew what she was saying, but it means do you want to sleep with me? So and now that was like after I started learning French a little bit, I started to put it together. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yep. So where did he get? Oh, wait, where did that come from? Does this come inside of holy moly? Let's go back to extensions. Svelte. I want to disable this and see if it's still there. Svelte for no, not that one. Svelte for VS Code. Let's disable this. Reload. Ruben, I think it did, and I didn't know that. And what in the world? So that's gone, right? You don't see that. You don't see SvelteKit, right? That's not there. But if I come back to Svelte, oh, that's wild. I did not know that. SvelteKit files. Wow, that's cool. Wow. Now they should have. They do. What? Okay, so will it ask me which directory to put it in? So let's do air svelte. To the path of resource relative to the current folder. Okay, so that's not quite as intuitive. Because I don't even know, like, all right, which folder am I in? Okay, so I guess I know if I know I'm in content and then I use error and then relative to just here. And it creates dang. Okay, that's cool. It's great when you want to make multiple paths and files. When you want to make multiple paths. What do you mean, Ruben? Because you can't create. Oh, it had the little checkbox thing. So you could. Is that what you mean? Or no? Wait. This should give you. I don't like this. This should give you a drop down of folders. It should give you a drop down of folders inside of your routes directory, and that shouldn't be that hard. So you should be able to choose from that. Mark it with a space. Not enter. Sorry. What are you saying, Ruben? Yeah, mark it with a space. I'm not sure what you mean there. Can you clarify that? Anyway, this is definitely SvelteKit files option to create stuff. Okay. Before you create, not enter. So are you saying SvelteKit create? Yeah, Ruben, I'm sorry. I'm not sure when you mean. You're saying with a space. You don't mean like SvelteKit files. You're not talking about, I don't know. I'm not sure when you're talking about before creating, but that is dope. That's cool to know. I did not know that. That's really cool.
And I can do /employer/something. I hit enter. And let's just say that I want a page.svelte and a page.server.ts.
Oh, wait. So
and I
what
can do
command?
/extensions I'm using or how I'm doing something a certain way. And these are the 3 extensions I use that are related to SvelteKit and Svelte. So let's see how we can actually use these and take full advantage of these. So let's go into our routes and let's just say we want to create a new route inside of employers. So all I have to do is right click on this, go to SvelteKit files here. Click on
Create
routes.
route. Okay. Get your setup with NeoVim. In theory, that could be cool. So the biggest thing, like I was interested in doing Vim for a while, but the thing is, like the hardest thing is and I don't know, I've assumed NeoVim would be similar, but it's like, it's hard to follow if you're watching. And I do so much content that I have to be really cognizant of that. So that's a hesitation that I have. Also, just like onboarding a whole new thing. So this will create a folder for me. So like test, and then I can go and check. Wow. 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 That's sick. I didn't know that existed. Okay, I got it. That's dope. That's super cool. Can create route and choose individual files. That's like really dope. Yeah. Shout out to Hanabyte for that tip. That's
Svelte
crazy.
and a page.server.t covered. And then we also have a load function set up here with the proper satisfies types added.
All right. Guillaume, what would be how would you like what's a relevant phrase for that's dope? Say sweat. So that's an interesting phrase because sweat literally means owl, I think, but people use it to mean that's cool. Say sweat, I think. Magnus, thanks for joining. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, what are some cool phrases in French that I could use for that's dope?
Everything is good to go. So that's a really quick way that you.
C'est génial. Is there anything less formal? Not that I think c'est génial is formal, but I feel like if I learn it on Duolingo, it's not as cool as like you wouldn't learn dope on Duolingo. You know what I mean? C'est chouette, c'est génial. C'est de la tuerie? Familiar? So that would be like less formal. Ça tue. And that too would be like a slang for dope. Or satu? Satu. I don't know if this is like fun for other people to hear me like stumble through French.
You can add routes. Another one is going to be the snippets. So let's just say that inside of employers, I want to create a new file. Let's just call this plot, right? So we have kit submit, which I actually created this myself. We'll cover that in just a second. But we have kit actions, kit endpoint, kit load, and kit param matcher. So in this case, let's just say we're going to put a load function here. So we can hit enter on kit load. And now it gives us the option to choose a page load, page server load, or layout server load, depending on if you're using TypeScript or not. In this case, it would just be a page load.
Are these his snippets that he created? He said something about he created. Okay, so Satu Setuf. Setuf. That's crazy. Satu. I like it. This is helpful. Yeah, but less formal. Cool. Setuf and Satu. The submit function snippet is the only custom. Okay, I was wondering that. That's cool.
And then we can start to, import whatever we wanted to import here. Add our first action. makes adding the progressive enhancement or the submit functions to my page.svelte
This is
that
really
much
good.
easier. You can see here that now I already have.
Yeah, I haven't. Je n'ai vu pas son canal. I don't know if canal is like a word for channel or not. I hadn't seen his channel until like 2 weeks ago. Il y a 2 semaines? 2 weeks ago?
All the boilerplate that I typically would want inside of a submit
This
function
is
added
really cool
here.
though.
Anything that I don't want, of course, I could remove. So
Okay, so this is where I get to ask more French questions. So yes, don't pronounce the T, but I thought since oof starts with a um starts with a vowel, you do pronounce the T. There's like some exception and I don't know when, but I thought if like usually it's not pronounced, but I thought with the next letter being a vowel, you would pronounce that T. So that would still be say oof, not instead of say oof. C'est tuf? C'est ouf? Je n'ai pas vu sa chaîne. I also don't know how to pronounce specifically accent, so I don't actually know if sa chaîne. This is so you still even yeah, so say is the first one is a combination of s and a, and you get say, and then then you have say, which is like yeah. So you still so even though the T comes before an O, you still don't pronounce that T? And thank you uh for the pronunciation. Appreciation. Harsh, what's up? If you're joining and we're only speaking on French and that's not very exciting to you, I understand. Okay, so there was cool. Thank you, Guillaume. So you never pronounce the T with CEST. Okay. Um I think that was the one exception that I had seen, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I don't is there a reason or do am I just supposed to remember that? I think the answer is probably I just need to remember that. So c'est ouf et ça tue. C'est ouf, ça tue. And then say I can't think of a noun that starts with a vowel. C'est c'est cool. C'est très cool. The thing I have the most trouble with is R's because I can roll. Yeah, we can talk about it another time. Thank you. I can roll my R's in Spanish, but the R in French is different, and I don't know how to do it, and I wish I was better at it. So
that's a quick way to do this. Now, this next tip has to do with being able to get more other tips because those are your way. So here we have, so in
I
order,
think
and then if we type in
is
plus, we can instantly see, find this, and now we can create. So if I wanted to do education, I could do education.
yeah.
I
Okay, so
mean, right now, obviously, the Svelte
on
community
the SvelteKit
Discord server,
Discord.
and you can easily
Fair
find a
enough.
lot of really definitely take advantage of this.
This was an awesome video. I don't know. I can't remember if I commented on this before or not, but this was an awesome video. Thanks so much for sharing. Uh, teach. So that would be, I don't know if we want to go back and forth with languages, would be taught instead of teached. Taught my American best friend during, which is actually, so this is interesting. So Guillaume, so you said in English, you said during 2 years, which I think is a literal translation from French to English because I think in French you would say pendant, 20 ans, I think. So pendant, I think would more literally translate to during. For in English, it would just be taught my American best friend for 20 years, or yeah, for 20 years instead of during. Which those are the things that like when you learn the individual words. Yeah, yeah, exactement. Ah, we need to hang out more on one day we'll set up some time to actually talk. That would be fun. That's the one thing. That's why these classes are super helpful because I get to actually like hear people speak French. And I listen to French podcasts. It's coffee break French, so they tell like stories and stuff, like short, small snippets, and then kind of dissect them, which has been really interesting. I'm going to Montreal in like a month, and I'm trying to get as much better at French as I can until I get there. So yeah, languages obviously really excite me. I'm a big nerd about languages, French and Spanish and German also. And the cool thing is we have people in streams from like all of those places all the time. I do the same with Norwegian and English, hard to catch. Yeah. Yeah, the thing that I've learned the most is like with Spanish especially, I speak it or I can understand most Spanish and I can read fluently in Spanish and I can speak a pretty good amount, but like being able to speak fluently is a very, very difficult thing to do. Yeah. Anyway. Well, thanks for hanging out, everyone. If anybody comes up with any other like random ideas or settings or something in VS Code that you think would make sense for SvelteKit, feel free to send that along, and I would love to include that um, in the cheat sheet that occur. I'm probably going to link back to this specific video too, because it's like a lot of the stuff that I have came from this video, which is super helpful. So anyway, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna send everybody over to everybody that's on Twitch. I'm gonna send you over to James Perkins. Let me get that started. And I'm gonna go take a break before my French class. Trois heures, 3 o'clock at 3 o'clock. And so I'm gonna rate everybody over to Twitch. Everybody on Twitch, thanks for hanging. I'll catch you later. And then I'll say bye to everyone here on YouTube as well. Ruben, will I share the tweet or the sheet? Yeah, I will. Also, if you haven't already, join Learn Build Teach community, and I'll make sure to share stuff there too. But anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. I'll catch you later.